We now move on to news around the East African region. From Tanzania, Air Tanzania Company Limited Managing Director Ladislas Matindi maintains the national carrier will only resume flights to Johannesburg after the government is fully satisfied that xenophobic violence has ended. It is now 2 weeks since the flights to South Africa were suspended and travelers are kept in suspense. The airline suspended flights immediately after court lifted an order that has resulted in one of its planes being impounded in South Africa. The order was court action in response to a farmer's petition that Tanzania government had not compensated him to his land, which was grabbed. In South Sudan, President Salva Kiir has said the transitional government of national unity must be formed on November 12th, as agreed by the parties to the peace deal in May this year. Salva Kiir made these remarks during the prayers organized by South Sudan Council of Churches at State House in the capital, Juba, yesterday. During last week's meeting between Kiir and Machar in Juba, both leaders committed to the timely formation of the new government. Away from the region, we look at news on the continent. From Tunisia, former President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, the first leader to be toppled by the Arab Spring revolts, died Thursday in Saudi Arabia, Tunisia's foreign ministry told AFP. He was 83 years. His lawyer, Moni Ben Alha, confirmed the news, citing family members and Ben Ali's doctor. Ben Ali, who ruled his North African country from 1987 until 2011, was viewed by some as a bulwark against Islamist extremism, but faced criticism for mulching the opposition and his reluctancy to embrace democracy. In Nigeria, police investigating the murders of at least 8 women lured to hotels in the southern city of Port Harcourt on Thursday arrested a man they described as a serial killer. 5 deaths in the last month have sparked outrage in Nigeria, with protests erupting across the city by women activists fearing a rise in killings targeting suspected sex workers. Police had already arrested one suspect but said in a statement on Twitter that another suspect had been arrested on Thursday morning. In Zimbabwe, a doctors' union leader whose suspected kidnapping sparked protests by medics in the capital Harare has been found alive, Human Rights Watch confirmed. Peter Magobenyi had been missing since Saturday night, with his Zimbabwe Hospital Doctors Association saying he was taken because of his role in organizing strikes to demand better pay and working conditions. Still on the continent, in Liberia, a huge fire at Koranic School killed at least 26 pupils and 2 teachers on Wednesday when flames engulfed their dormitory in one of the worst disasters of its kind for the West African nation. The boys were sleeping at the school when the overnight fire began, said police spokesperson Moses Carter, adding that an electrical fault could have caused the blaze. President George Weah visited the site at Pennsville on the outskirts of the capital, Monrovia, and said the cause was still unknown. Away from the African continent, in the U.S., at least 1 person was killed and 5 more injured in a shooting in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. Footage shows the condoned off area where the shooting happened and a high police presence at the scene. The suspect is still reportedly at large, with his motive being unknown. The shooting happened near the apartment building several kilometers away from the White House. We close off news around the world from Mexico, where female activists marched through Mexico City on the anniversary of the 1985 and 2017 earthquakes under the slogan Terremoto Feminista, earthquake for feminism, calling for an end to gender-based violence and hate crimes on Thursday. The activists marched from Insurgents Avenue to the capital's Angel of Independence monument, carrying signs decrying violence against women and demanding demanding equality. You go and file a complaint because your daughter has disappeared. You go to the police and they tell you not to worry. A mother of a missing woman from Ciudad Juarez said at the protest. According to Terremoto Feminista's report cited in media, every day in Mexico, 10 women are killed and 51 raped. And in the last 6 months, 1,610 acts of femicide were committed across the country. That is it for the news around the world. We now take a short break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at the news in business.